Right, welcome back. So we're still talking about wealth creation, the various forms, the levels. We've talked about the wealth accumulation level, which is the primary stage. We've talked about the wealth preservation level, which is the secondary stage. Now we're talking about the tertiary stage, which is the wealth multiplication level. Now you've accumulated wealth. You've also grown. You've also disciplined yourself to begin to preserve and protect it by not making irrational decisions or not making impulsive buying, not just spending money and feeding all those holes and taking monies away from you. The next thing is to multiply. Why is that important? Because on your journey towards wealth creation, you've got to have two powerful machines. The first is a money-making machine, which is your business. If you're working, that's fine, but even when you're working for someone as an employee, it will be very difficult. It's in fact impossible for you to get wealthy being an employee. So you also would need a business on the side. So let's say you will have a business that's a money-making machine. You need a system that would help you to preserve the money you make from the money-making machine. Then you need a money multiplying machine. So that means that you need to learn how to multiply the money you make. How do you do that? Let's assume that Sandra buys 10 oranges for 1,000 naira, and then she sells the 10 oranges for 2,000 naira. If I ask you, most people would say her profit is 1,000 naira. I would be telling you today that her profit is not 1,000 naira. What she's actually made is what we call margin, which is some form of profit. So what would advise Sandra to do is, Sandra was the name I used, I guess. So what would advise Sandra to do is, do not use the entire 1,000 naira that you've made to begin to solve problems. What should you do instead is to do take about, let's say 50% of the money you've made, 500 naira, 500 naira, yes, and put it in an investment. This is just an example. And use the other 500 to do whatever you need to do, keep you going, and reinvest the 1,000 naira, buy oranges again to sell. Now Sandra has 500 naira here, put in an investment that maybe gives her 10-20% per month. So that means that Sandra, let's say 20%, so Sandra will make 100 naira here in her investment that she does not have to be physically involved in, and here in her business she makes another 1,000 naira. And again she takes 500 naira and she puts it here. So she now has, the second month she has 1,100 naira. Remember, she's made profit of 100 naira here. The third month, okay, now this investment also goes and does 20%. So 20%, she makes, say, 20% of 1,000 naira. Here is 200 naira, right? So she makes 200. Let's say even if she plugs in the entire 1,100 naira, she makes about 200 plus. Okay, from this her business is still going. So what Sandra has ended up doing is, she has a business running, she has an investment ongoing, and every money she makes from the business, she takes from that money part of it. It could be 30%, it could be 20%, it could be 50%, and she puts that same money here, and this continues to grow while her business also grows. That way she's multiplying money here while she's making money here, and she has a system to enable her to preserve. That's the way it works, all right? So that way she keeps accumulating wealth. For any reason, if Sandra takes ill and she's unable to go to the market today, her investment is still running by the side. That's the way you should program your life. That's the way you begin to build, to multiply wealth. I've used a very simplistic example which you can use in whatever business you find yourself. So you need to learn to multiply wealth after accumulating and preserving. In our next video, I am going to talk to you about how you can transfer wealth. Listen, if you multiply wealth, if you can accumulate, you can preserve, and you can multiply, but you cannot transfer, it brings everything you've done to nothing. So it's a very important video. The next video, stay tuned. Don't go away. Click on the next button and watch the next video. See you soon.